Hey guys, Outdoor Enthusiast 88 here again. So today I'm actually going to go and show you guys how to properly clean and lubricate your new Ruger LCP II. This is a similar process that I've done pretty much to all my firearms. With the Ruger LCP II, it's a much smaller firearm, so it shouldn't take too long at all. But the basic tools you will need are some cleaning cloths. You can actually use any kind of cloth, ripped up t-shirts. I just have these different kinds of various sizes of cleaning patches. Maybe some Q-tips, getting some of the small to reach places. There's actually a picks, some of the polymer picks you can buy that you can use with the cloths to kind of reach into the little cracks and crevices of the firearm. And then actually I do have some Hoppe's number 9, some CLP, and this is actually a 9mm brass brush for the actual barrel, but you know, 380 9mm, very similar size and diameter, so that should work just fine. So here she is. This is actually particular LCP II I've done several reviews on, and I have over 200 rounds through it by now. Has not been cleaned. Has not been cleaned from the factory either, so it still has some gunk on it from there, plus a couple hundred rounds through it. So it's very dirty. You can see all the gunk on it already, and I just kind of wanted to run through how to clean this up for you guys. So you want to first see the mag. Even the mag is kind of messy. Sometimes I do clean the magazines. I probably won't this time, but you know, as they get dirtier, get them good clean. I used to clean them all the time after the range, but it turns out you really don't have to. Make sure the firearm's clean, empty. And what you want to do is you want to grab some kind of pry mechanism. I actually use one of these Kershaws here. I love this little shuffle too. It's awesome. I do have a review on this phenomenal little knife by Kershaw. Has a little flat head there. You're going to want to push against the slide a little bit, just a little bit, to get in there, pop that pin out. I have noticed that this pin becomes easier and easier to pop out over time, which is good. Slide comes right off. There's the internals of the frame, nice and gunked up. Got the spring and the barrel. You can see my hands getting filthy, just kind of messing around with it. Steel guide rod, double spring mechanism there. So first and foremost, I pretty much just start with, you know, the smallest pieces. I'll grab a patch, and what I use for a lot of the parts is just the CLP. I usually use the Hoppe's number 9 or the Hoppe's number 9 for the bore itself, so inside the barrel, because the Hoppe's is a really strong solvent, and you really don't need to use it on everything. I did in the beginning use it on a lot of the firearm, but really it's more than you need. It really is. For a lot of these little parts, just kind of wipe it down, give each part a good clean. It's really not a whole lot to it, and like I said, the best thing about the LCP II is that it is pretty small. You know, if we're cleaning like a Beretta or an AR or something like that, it might take you a little longer, but just get a good clean on all these. I do wipe down the springs. I just kind of twist them through, because it does help with the CLP. It does help clean and lubricate, which is good. Which is help prevent rust or anything like that. And of course, as a carry gun, which I have been carrying this pretty much every single day with no problems whatsoever. I love the little pocket holster it comes with. You can check out my other review on that. But I have been carrying it every day, and the cool part is you just don't notice it. You can put it in the back pocket of a jean and just kind of let it just sit there, and you really won't notice much about it. There's some cloth that gunked up in there. But yeah, I'll just take the cloth and I'll go after the slide. Just kind of a quick wipe down to start. See, it's kind of starting to get a little dirty there. Find a clean part. Wipe it down, exterior, interior. I'm gonna go after this a little deeper in a minute. And the same with the slide. You know, I'm just trying to use the patches up as economically as I can. You know, as they dirty up, I'll throw them away, but you know, as you can see, I've used one patch. I've got a lot of the firearm already kind of wiped down to start. So this one's pretty much done. So what I'm going to do now is actually take one of the smaller brushes, or the smaller patches, and I have this Hoppies number 9. And you know, you can buy them in different sizes. This is like one of the smaller sizes you can get. What I do is actually I just take a tip and fold it over like this. Kind of dip it in there. Don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. What I actually do is I'll take my brush and actually just wrap it like that. And I'll take the barrel. Of course, it's a very short barrel. You really don't have to work too much at it, but you can see it runs it through with the patch. And I can actually just unscrew it, pull it out, screw it back on, run it again if I want. You can see it really, really cleans out all the grooves in the barrel really nicely. You can even run this through by itself. You want to double check. You always want to go chamber to the end of the barrel. You never want to go the other way. Just keep that consistent. Now you can take some of the hops that's left over, kind of rub the outside down a little bit. Some of the dirtiest parts of the feed ramps here. You want to get in there. Grab another patch. Might do a little bit bigger one this time. This one's already cut up a little bit. I will do that again with the hops, the hoppies, whatever you want to call them. You know, don't get too much on there. That's actually probably too much, but you know, I'll use it. I'm actually gonna just run it through here. Oh, might be too big. There you go. Look at that. I'll actually save that since there's a bunch of oil still on there from the hoppies. Nice and clean and shiny. If you want, you can even run it through with a clean patch. A lot of people do run patches through the whole thing until they come out completely clean. This one's almost clean, so we'll leave it at that. Actually, I might go and just clean right there. Get in the grooves. You can take your polymer pick if you want. Clean in all the grooves there. Get some of that gunk out of there. Use your fingernails, kind of run around the sides. But overall, I think the barrel's pretty clean. So I take the hops that I had back here again. Run it through in the slide. Start to see that LCP again. LCP II logo was kind of gunked up earlier. Some of the cloth's getting caught on the lettering, but here's the extractor right here. You're going to want to actually get that area kind of clean, so you can take this, take your polymer pick here, and just kind of get in there. Make sure there's no gunk buildup. You can see kind of the tip there is nice and black in there, so you know, get into some of these crevices. See how it gets, you know, even after a quick hand wipe, you can see it's really dark in there. You really want to get as best you can in all the areas here. The firing pin is actually right here. There is no actual firing pin type safety on this. The firing pin itself is made of titanium, and I did talk to a Ruger representative, and you can see that, you know, there's a internal hammer right there that flies forward, hits the firing pin, pushes forward, you know, hits the primer and launches the round. Now there is no official drop safety or anything like that. However, Ruger did say that they have done extensive testing, and there's no chance of the firearm if you dropped it going off. So that kind of helps a little bit with my worry, I guess, but you know, for an everyday carry, but I think it's just fine carrying this with a round in the chamber, especially with that safety on the trigger there, as long as you keep it in like a pocket holster. But, you know, food for thought. It's kind of interesting. There's no real safety in there, but kind of like the Ruger Commander that I have, the 1911 Commander, it actually does have the titanium firing pin in there, which helps with drop protection so that it won't fly forward as easily. I want to get all the rail slots cleaned out. You can see pretty filthy in there. These picks work really well. They're not very strong, so you don't want to like force them into too many areas. They won't hold up very well, and they bend pretty easily, but they work for what you need right here. Get in there in the firing pin area for sure, so we can find a cleaner part of the patch there. And get in there, and in there. Yeah, you can take this gun down further if you want. You can knock out the extractor, you can take the firing pin out. I mean, you can take this down as much as you want, but this is just a basic field cleaning. This is probably as far as anyone really needs to go with it, you know, unless you shoot thousands of rounds through the gun. But this is probably as good as you will need right now, especially with these picks helping you clean all the gunk out of there. So that's done, slide's done. Probably grab another patch. Grab a little one, and I can go back to the CLP. And you actually need to get some more CLP. This one's kind of running low. I've had this for about a year. You can see it's kind of worn down a little bit. These last quite a long time, depending on how much you shoot. Take a pick again. Clean up all the rail spots. One thing I notice is with a fully loaded mag, sometimes the magazine catch does actually get caught up. It's actually a little bit difficult to seat the magazine in, so it's probably a spot where you can see the magazine catch is actually down there. Probably want to go and throw this down, patch down there, kind of clean around there, make sure there's no gunk build up down there. You can actually let the hammer fall forward if you want. Just kind of clean down in there. Probably not too much down there, but just for a thorough kind of cleaning. And then you can put it back. I'll try to put it back to where it was. Nope. Attempt to put it back to where it was, but that's all right. When you put the slide back on, it'll fly forward or fly back. All right, I think we're about done here. You can clean the polymer on the outside if you want. But like I said, just make sure that magazine well is pretty clean. Like I said, as a carry gun, you want to keep it as clean, everything as clean as you can, function correctly. All right, so put it back together. Take your steel guide rod, take your spring set up. Slide those back together. Take a barrel, pop that in the back into place. Slide the spring, put it back on the ledge where it came from. It's a small ledge right there. You can see it just barely holds on there. And actually, before I put this back, what I do like to do is I'll take the CLP and I will put a couple of drops on the rails on the outside. Not too much, but it helps to kind of keep the rails lubed up. Slide this back on. You can see you actually heard it click there. Let my pin go. So the hammer did go back into place there. Push the slide back a little bit. You had to push the pin down and in. Rub off some of the oil if you want. They do make silicone or silicone cloths you can actually use to wipe these down if you want, but really just kind of putting some oil on there, you know, from your hands really helps kind of keep the outside protected. It's not too big of a deal, and that'll dry up and wear off over time. So there you have it, guys. A clean LCP II. Well, thanks for watching. You know, subscribe to the channel, like this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, let me know below, and have a good one.